I'm Joe Condon. Welcome to our program. One of the biggest events in the Capital Region every year is Tour de Cure for the American Diabetes Association. It happens up in Saratoga Springs this year on June the 1st. And here we have two supporters of that event. Joe Center, who is the sales director of Empire Blue Cross, and Greg Kelly, who is the vice president of Northeastern Fine Jewelry. Nice to have you gentlemen with us today.
Thank you.
Joe Center of Empire Blue Cross, why did you guys decide to get involved in this race?
Well, Empire Blue Cross, yeah, sure. Empire Blue Cross decided to get involved this is going to be our third year as the premier sponsor for the event, and really it's tied to the mission of our corporation at Empire Blue Cross, and our mission is really to improve the lives of the people we serve and the health of our communities, and what better way to do it than a ride that gets people out physically active and really serves a large population of the community. Like you said, this is one of the largest events in this area. So being one of the largest health insurers in New York State and corporately across the nation as well, we thought this would be a really good event for us to get involved in.
And Greg Kelly of Northeastern Fine Jewelry, why did you guys decide to get involved?
So we thought it was a great organization, a great cause. And we have some emotional attachment to diabetes. We have some family and friends that are touched by it, unfortunately. And, it's just something we've always wanted to be involved in.
For our viewers not familiar with Tour de Cure, could you tell us what it's all about?
Sure. It's a series of cycling events across the country. Tour de Cure is for raising money for American diabetes. And what it is, there's different locations throughout the country. Saratoga Springs happens to be one of them, and they're actually the second largest. And what it is a bike ride, if you will. It's not a race. There are no prizes for winning or losing. It's more about completing your journey on the bike and everything, and raising money to help stop this disease called diabetes.
Greg, I understand that you can ride for 10 miles, 25 miles, up to 100 miles. You want to talk about that a little?
Yeah, so it gives opportunity to everyone, really. 10 miles goes by pretty quick. We found out last year. We figured out that it was a ride, not a race. I actually got there. I was in my bike shorts, and we showed up, and it was just kind of a gradual ride. And based on any level, it serves everyone. The majority of our team rode 10 miles, and some of them rode up to 100. So it was great to see the different levels of achievement, is a good word, I think. And I think we're going to probably shoot for 25 as a whole this year.
We sort of have bragging rights here in the Capital Region. When you think about events, you think like, well, New York City is going to have the biggest event, or maybe Buffalo or Rochester, some of the larger cities in New York State. But little old Saratoga Springs, you have the largest Tour de Cure in the state. Why do you guys think that is?
I think a lot of it goes to...
Because we're fantastic, first of all.
Well, that is definitely it. Upstate New York is the best region in the country. So I know they get about 2,500 riders at this event, which is an amazing sight to just see. When you go to Saratoga Springs and you go to that high school and you see all of the bikes lined up there waiting to ride in this event, it's pretty impressive, actually. But really, getting back to why is that the case, I think it's really the leadership of the diabetes organization here under Amy Young and Denise Nicastro, who really drive this. And if you've met them, they're extremely passionate about this cause, and they really don't stop at no. So when they go out and they ask people to join, or they ask a business like ours, hey, can you come on as a sponsor or something, it's never just asked once and said, oh, no, you know what, I don't have time. They're constantly driving, and I think that really is what drives the population to come out for this event here.
Greg, why do you think we're the biggest and best?
Yeah, if I could echo what Joe just said, we pack a punch. We don't say no. We have a lot of influential people at the top that I think really give it their all. Everyone has a day-to-day job, but to work on something extra, you really have to be passionate about it. And I think that we are, and there's a lot of people that follow suit. So it has that nice trickling effect where people just want to be a part of something great, and if you can experience that day, I don't think you'll ever not do it again.
Now, you guys are here to recruit cyclists. Last year you had 2,000. Nationally, you had 55,000 100,000 cyclists. Want to tell folks why they personally should get involved or why their company should be involved?
Sure. Well, one, it's a great cause. Plus, it's an extremely well-run event. So when you go there, everything is very organized, clearly marked out for the what area you're going to ride in, so nobody misses a turn and gets lost on the way and things. When you think of a bike ride, it's usually of distances like we've just talked about. So I think those two things really add into why people want to get involved. But more so, they get involved for different reasons, and there's different levels like we just talked about. You can ride 10 miles, you can ride 25 miles. There's also a spin. So if you don't have a bike, that's not an excuse. There's spin bikes inside, and you can do spin. And if you're an avid cyclist and out for a challenge and really want to see the area, there are the 100-mile rides and the 62.5 rides or the 50-mile rides that you can go on as well. So I think that's really why it's an event for everyone. The 10-miler is really a nice family event. Sure. I see a ton of families coming out with their kids, and what a better way to get them involved in a charity to help raise money for a great cause for people that they may know. You may have somebody that's 8 years old that is sitting next to somebody in school that has diabetes and doesn't really understand it, but what a great way to get them involved in something with the family to show them a great, really instill some good values in them and stuff. And I see that a lot in this event, and it has a ton of great people involved.
Greg, why would you suggest that individual cyclists or companies get involved, or people just watching form a team?
Yeah, in addition to that, I would say not only is it a day for a great cause, it is a fun, interactive day. At Northeastern, we've really made it part of our culture. I'd say 75% of our employees are part of the day in some way, shape, or form. And it's something to look forward to. It creates a lot of camaraderie, a lot of goal setting, and working together to make it happen.
Now, where can folks go to get involved with the Diabetes Association? You got Facebook pages, website?
They can actually go online to diabetes.org/Saratoga, and that'll take them directly to the website where they could actually form a team. And it's not hard to form a team. So if you had a business and you're looking to get involved in it, even if you had 4 or 5 people in the business, you don't always have to have just people in your business on your team. You can reach out, and friends and families and others that do business with you can get involved as well in your team. So really, you go on that website, you can go in, select a team captain, register yourself, and then start recruiting riders. And that in itself can be a lot of fun, because it's amazing, I think, and Greg can probably echo this, all you've got to do is ask people. And when you ask, they're more than willing to help out. So the biggest thing here, I think, for people to say, don't be afraid to ask, to say, hey, you want to ride with me? It could be just 2 of you to start, and then it starts to grow from there, and that's really what's built this.
Mm-hmm. Now, you leave from, on June 1st, you leave from Saratoga High School, and the ride is up to 100 miles, and the people that are going 100 miles, they have to start at 6 or 6:30 in the morning, so they'll be back in time. Tell us about the ride and the journey that the riders will be having on June 1st.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful ride. I think the stage is set unbelievably, where you're at the start-finish line, and the anthem goes off, and there's music, and gets everyone pumped up. And then you're basically riding throughout the roads of Saratoga and the park. So it's a beautiful ride too. We got lucky last year with weather. It was supposed to rain, really didn't, held off until the end. And everything happens for a reason. So it's a great day of achievement. I should add, people really feel great during the ride, when they finish the ride, and that's what keeps bringing them back.
Would you give your description of the ride?
Yeah, I would just add to that and say, just so people understand, when you're going 100 miles, anything, all of the rides really, except I guess for the spin, because it doesn't really go anywhere, there's rest stops as well. So it's not like you're riding for 100 miles and never getting off your bike. There's actual rest stops. Actually, LL Bean was involved last year. They had a rest stop on I did the 25-mile ride, and they had the boot truck there. So it was kind of cool to stop in there, take a little break, get a little water, something to eat, talk to some people, get back on. Again, the whole thing is really, they all are rides. Now, the 100-mile is going to have some hills and be a little more challenging. The 25-mile ride, I can say for myself, I had only been on a bike once before that, grabbed my old mountain bike from college years, took it to the shop, had them fix it up for me, and they have people right there. If something happens to your bike, they can help fix it. So it's extremely well run like that. And if you think back to what a bike ride is, again, not a race, it's something you used to do as a kid for fun, right? I mean, it's not something that you're out as a chore. If you want to turn it into that, and I think that's what the great thing about this is, if you want to challenge yourself physically a little bit, you can do that. But if you just want to have fun with it and do the 10-mile ride, we had people last year, I think, on unicycles riding the 10-mile ride. I mean, it's a fun kind of event.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it certainly was. But
it looked difficult too.
Yeah. So to me, that's what makes this great, is that it's really all different people getting out.
Joe and I actually were going to start the day before, and we're going to go after the 100.
Maybe 2 days.
I was going to ask you, and you sort of alluded to it, it sounds like you don't have to have a special kind of cycle.
No.
No, not at all. I mean,
so one in the garage that you haven't used in a while, get it tuned
works.
up?
You know, I would say if you're going to think about going out and doing a 100-mile ride, you probably want to go buy a bike that's going to do pretty well for you. But if you want to do the 10 or the 25, like I said, an old bike that you used to have, tune it up a little bit, get it out, put some oil on the chain, and have a great time. The only thing you do need is a helmet. They require you to wear a helmet. So you definitely need to make sure that you would have a helmet as well.
You know, it's a great opportunity to also increase your health. And there's a lot of people that are really trying to get in shape, and you see more and more things out there. So it'd be a nice reach or outlook, I should say, for someone that is looking to maybe try and get a little healthier, become a little bit more active, and look forward to something.
Now, is there a particular brand that seems to be the most popular? And you probably would know the answer to this. I know Giant, Trek, Fuji are very prominent bicycle brands right now. Is there one that seems to stand out at this that you might suggest riders get, or just go into your garage and?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen any brand kind of stick out. And again, I wouldn't be the expert probably on it. I can tell you that, you know, just to that effect, it's pretty impressive when you pull up there. You kind of know who the 100-miler guys are because they've got the serious looking bikes and the roof racks with all the fancy stuff, and you're there pulling yours out of your trunk. And you know, again, that's really what I think I like about it, is that you've got that mix of people. And just to add to what we were talking about before, a bike ride, it's funny, if you haven't rode before, you can actually have a conversation and talk to people while you're riding.
Yeah. It makes you go fast as well.
Yeah, it does. And it gets you to know other people as well. So when you get caught up and you're at the same pace as somebody, you just start a little conversation, and it turns into, you know, by the end of a 25-mile ride or a 10-mile ride, you stop at the rest stop, you're talking to people, and you can make new friends and stuff too. It's not like other activities, like I think, you know, I've run a lot of 5Ks and stuff as well. You get pretty winded in those. It's tough to talk to some people as you're doing that. But a bike ride, it's a fun time.
It is.
Now, I understand there is a $15 entrance fee per person, and each individual has to raise a minimum of $200. Want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think the fundraising, if you have a little urgency and you start early, it's not that difficult. You know, if you break it down between 20 people, you know, it's $10 a piece.
Oh, it's not per individual?
It's per individual, $200, yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, just...
What if they go out to their different friends?
Yeah, branch out so you're not, you know, either putting the 200 in by yourself. You know, it does go quick, and a lot of times, more often than not, you'll see that people will give you actually more. And then what's great about that is the next year they probably will give it to you again.